Welcome back to the Lazyriver, guys. This is Herb. Hope you're all doing good. Today we're doing a little bit of a turtle thing here. As you see, we've made some changes. The tank is now up on a stand, but that's not what this video is about. Today we're going to be talking about filtration. If you look over here, you'll notice that we've got 3 compartments from a canister filter. We recently did get a new canister filter. We got this one right here. The outside filter. I've been just digesting this instruction manual. And let me just show you this real quick. So we've gotten our canister filter set up inside of a bucket. It's important to remember that you need to keep this below the tank for proper working order. We've got the airline tubings hooked up for the intake and the outtake, but we're not really going to get into like how it all works or anything, because y'all seen all of these videos about canister filters on the internet. But here's just a quick rundown. Here's my bottom tray. I've stuffed it with a bunch of coarse sponges topped with a fine sponge type of material. We've got our lava rocks, so this will be the bottom, the second and third layers. So we'll go ahead and we'll get those in there. We'll take this out. It's a good thing to keep it inside of a bucket because you don't want to have any leaks, so that's a preventative measure right there. So we're gonna go ahead, we'll put our first tray in, our second tray in, and our third tray in. Now you notice I probably could have filled it up with a little bit more lava rock, but I didn't do that. We're gonna go ahead, set this back on there, get it latched. And also, be careful with all of your electrical stuff. Don't do what I do. Keep it up off the ground. So basically, do as I say, not as I do. Oh yeah, and also don't forget to put this little piece right here, piece number 10, on top of your 3 compartments to hold everything in. Let me get a sip of this tea from Fantastic Cafe. Shout out to them, they're amazing. We're gonna go ahead and we're going to get this filter up and running and take a look. So we've had some time for the filter to run. Here's our outtake. We haven't hooked up a bar yet. We may, or we may just let it run like that. It seems to be a little bit quieter when I don't have the spray bar on there. So down here is where the canister sits, below the tank. Here's the intake, taking in the water, sucking it into the filter, and the outtake, which runs along the back, bringing it back up to here. And I did notice that the filter is doing a really good job of sucking up debris. If we take a closer look, we will notice that yes, there are some particles floating in there, and it will take some time for the filter to be able to suck up everything. But we do have a solution for the tiny particles. What we're going to do is we are going to utilize this piece of airline tubing that we have here, and we will be hooking up a sponge filter to filter out the fine particles in the water. Now let's take the time to talk about why exactly are we doing this. Why are we hooking up the canister filter? Why are we running sponge filters? And it's simple. Because water quality is everything, especially with pet turtles. Your pet turtles can get sick if they have dirty water, a lot of uneaten food or debris. And let's think about it. These guys are basically just swimming around in their own bathroom water. I mean, would you want to do that? I don't think so. You probably wouldn't. You'd be like, no, thank you. So it's important that we try to keep our turtles' water very clean. If we don't, they can become susceptible to infections in their eyes and other parts inside of their body, and we want to try to eliminate that as much as possible. Now, I'm not saying that by hooking up a fancy canister filter like this that it's going to eliminate the need to do water changes. No, we will need to still do water changes. However, this is going to keep the quality of the water in between water changes at a much better quality. So, with that said, this is what we're doing and where we're at. Also, yes, we do need to talk about the intake. Now, you'll notice that, look, if I put my finger there, it kind of cuts off the output. And on the output, I don't have anything on there. Well, I could probably make a better utilization of this, but what I want to do is I want the big particles, like the uneaten food, the debris, to get sucked in there. Now, you might be saying to yourself, yeah, but Herb, that's going to essentially clog up your filter. Well, there are ways that we could do this. Let's say we were running just a regular fish tank with some aquarium fish. We might want to put, let me find this thing on here, which will trap the particles right here. And we could even, like, you know, fit it up a little bit more and put a sponge on the outside, just so it's like those big particles don't get inside the filter. But let's be honest, we're talking about turtles here. And I know that you guys who are out there that keep turtles know exactly what I mean. They can be very messy little creatures. So we're just doing a test right now. We're not utilizing anything on the intake. And I'm not really afraid of the turtles to get hurt by it or sucked up by it. I did notice that Harry and Cherry were looking around at it, but they didn't really care. So it's also probably not a bad idea to consider feeding commercial name brand turtle pellets. I like to use Reptimin floating sticks by Tetra. I also like to utilize these Red River shrimp by Zoomed. The reason I'm saying that we could use these name brand turtle pellets and turtle foods is because they are very well tested, well known, and they don't seem to mess with your water quality too much. Now, that's not to say that if you feed too much of it and let it sit around in your tank that it won't, you know, mess up the water quality, because it can. But they're well known and they work really well. Also, when I do water changes, I know this really isn't necessary, but I like to use a little bit of Melifix. It treats bacterial infections and rapidly repairs fins, ulcers, open wounds, and promotes regrowth of damaged fins. This is mainly a fish product, but I like to utilize it in the turtle water, just for the simple fact being that, you know, their eyes, maybe they'll have a sore. I've noticed that if you look right here, see him swimming away? He does have a couple wounds. Once in a while they'll nip at each other, but that's what I do. Yes, that's what we're doing. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the episode. And as always, thank you so much for continuing to support me in the Lazy Store. You guys rock. As always, and until next time, stay lazy and adios.